how huge the result was. There we go. 4 points off the top four. Remember, they go to Chelsea on February the 22nd. Chelsea also have to play Manchester United at home this month as well. Manchester City, as we've said, 6 defeats. Pep's never lost more than that in any league season as a manager. The 22-point lead now for Liverpool at the end of this match week, the biggest in any stage in any top-flight English league season. So it now means that Liverpool need a maximum of 18 points before they can think about getting their hands on the title that they have waited 30 years for. And in those 6 fixtures, they play 5 of the bottom 7. The exception is a trip to Goodison for the Merseyside derby, where, of course, if Manchester City were to drop more points, they could, and I emphasise could, before they get too emphasised on Merseyside, clinch the title.
Wow.
You think Jurgen's enjoying his little holiday that he's on at the minute after today's result? They've been brilliant, they've been relentless, and it is just a matter of time.
And just to put it into context, Ian, if they were to do that, that would be 7 games to spare.
Yeah.
The most any team in any top-flight English season have done is 5.
Well, I just think it's their dominance and the way that they've approached this season. They haven't been playing unbelievable football, but they've got it done, and they've got it done because the quality players have come to the fore at seminal moments in games, and they've done it. And, you know, if they can do it at Everton, the way everything's fallen into line for Liverpool, you can almost see that happening, them going to Everton and winning the title there.
And I know some people will say, oh, well, all those teams are fighting to stay in the Premier League, but if you could jot a few down, it wouldn't be far off that, would it?
What, with Liverpool's record this season? I mean, they've lost 1 last season, haven't lost any this season. Whatever is put in front of them, they're brushing aside, and a lot of the time with ease. They were pushed yesterday, but they ended up scoring 4, putting 4 past Southampton. 1 or 2 decisions go their way. Yes, they could have had a penalty, but it doesn't matter what teams put up in front of them in terms of in the Premier League. They're just blowing everyone away.
And they're just chalking them off one by one, aren't they?
And that's all they'll do. They'll continue to do that. You know, no one at Liverpool, especially when you listen to the guys do the interviews, they're not getting carried away with what they're doing. They know what this means, and they're just going to take each game as it comes. And that's exactly what you need to do.
And as the season's going, you wouldn't rule out a Goodison celebration, would you?
No, that's all, no. Do you think they'd enjoy that?
Well, as someone who won the Premier League on Merseyside,
true,
you'd be able to tell me better. Gentlemen.
He's a player, Don, that's received a lot of criticism from Liverpool fans over the years. So for him to give that sort of performance week in, week out is just brilliant for him.
I think a lot of those Liverpool fans that criticised Jordan Henderson will be eating humble pie. And it was probably the fact that they'd lost Steven Gerrard, an iconic captain. And then obviously Jordan took over, and you thought he's never going to fill his boots. An iconic, the standard of player Stevie G was, one of the best in their history. But what he's done, as Alan said, his attributes, he just ticks them off every single week. Whether he's a leader, where he demands more from the players, there's a dream for a manager. When Jurgen Klopp delivers the instructions before the game, he then goes onto the pitch and carries those instructions out. He's getting his goals, he's getting assists, and what he does when he drives the team on, he's been the perfect captain this season.
And now Liverpool, of course, are 6 wins away from being crowned Premier League champions. What
Staggering.
An incredible moment it will be for them.
They've just been relentless. Whoever they've faced in the Premier League, they've just blown them away. When you look at those fixtures, you can't see anyone beating them this season.
No. And actually, if City drop more points, then it could actually be in a Merseyside derby against Everton. That'd be nice for them, wouldn't it?
That'd be amazing, yeah.
Enjoy that, wouldn't it?
I mean, it's just phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, obviously, we've said it. I think me and Al sat here, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the ribbons on the title there, that needs to change quick, because it's just a formality.
OK, we could carry on talking about Liverpool for ages, couldn't we? But we are going to move on and talk.
Wrong moment, that's how it is, that's plays in their cards. So I was not unhappy with the result. We changed in half-time, we showed the boys 3 situations, and we used that, and it was immediately different. When my team starts rolling, then it's the power we create in these moments is really incredible, I have to say it. So I'm really happy about the performance and the game and the result.
The way we played today was unbelievably good, and even the result was a little bit too high. But you see the quality when they once have the space, everything. Then it's not to defend, but we stayed on our game plan, and I'm very proud of my team.
We just want to keep going, keep giving everything we can in each game. You know, we always say the next game is the biggest challenge, and it was a difficult game today. You know, Southampton are a good team in good form, and they caused us 1 or 2 problems, especially end of the first half. So it was a tough game, but in the end we scored some great goals, good second half performance, and deservedly got the 3 points in the end.
Just heard from him there, Tim. I mean, he has been amazingly influential, hasn't he, for Liverpool the last 18 months?
Outstanding. I mean, on these interviews there, he's a captain of the club. He's staying to script. What he really wants to say is, we won the Champions League last year. We absolutely scooted the Premier League this year. We are untouchable. That's what he wants to say, and that's what I would be saying. But he's far more intelligent than me. His contributions is outstanding. Look at that delivery there. That for Mo Salah is outstanding. His goal was great. His whole round game. I just think that he affects others when he's not playing so well as well. He's one of the most, and if they win the Premier League, which we know they're going to, on the back of the Champions League win last year, one of the most captains in Liverpool's history. And I know it's a big statement.
Wow, because they've had some influential captains.
30 years, Hugh, since they've won the Premier League.
Yeah.
He is so instrumental in them lifting this Premier League trophy this year.
Yeah.
No, agreed.
He's the cake. Not the icing on it, not the cherry.
No.
He is the foundation, what every team needs.
Yeah. Well, your old pal, Alan Shearer, says he's player of the season.
Yeah, and Alan's never wrong.
But it's interesting, because he's not the flashiest, you know, and he's not the most eye-catching necessarily, although, as Tim's just demonstrated, he's added a lot to his game in the last 18 months.
He doesn't want the limelight.
No.
He just wants to be the backbone to the side. And he can do that ball that we've just seen for Mo Salah to score. But it's the other stuff that you don't see. It's the shouting and the screaming and the you go there, you go there.
Yeah.
And if it's not going right on the pitch, and this is what Tim and I think, if he's not going right on the pitch, he'll change it.
Yeah.
You know, if let's say Milner's there, say, hey, Millie, make sure that happens and make sure that happens. And you stay here and you don't go there. He'll make decisions because the boss has allowed him to do that.
Yeah.
Responsibility.
Dion, is so difficult for our statsmen, for the statsmen they've got at their club, and analysis all over the world to quantify what he gives them in the dressing room.
Yeah.
The assists we can judge, the tackles we can judge, the goals we can judge. We cannot judge the character, the personality, the way he galvanises that group on the pitch and in that dressing room and around the hotels. All that time they spend together, he is the leader of that team.
You don't see.
Could I contrast that then with what's happened to the deposed champions who've lost all that with Vincent Kompany this season? Again, ignore all the stuff on the pitch. Everything you've just described, which is leading Liverpool to their first title in 30 years, Manchester City have lost in the shape of Vincent Kompany.
You couldn't argue that, Mark. I mean, it's a fair comment. You know, no one's been able to pick up that mantle. It was a huge one to do. That's why you have to breed them. How long's he been at the club? Liverpool. Doesn't bring a new signing to do that. He generates that over years and years of knowing how much it means to the people of Liverpool and the people who come in, the players who come into that club. He tells them, this is the Liverpool way, this is Jurgen Klopp's way, this is how we need to do it. He's leading us to glory.
Absolutely, yeah. We're all together. You know, he's letting everybody know that we are all together.
Yeah.
This is what we want to achieve. If we all stick together, we'll be fine. I genuinely think he's the most improved player since moving from Sunderland, wasn't it? Since Liverpool have had. Most improved player.
I know 3, 4, 5 years ago, Liverpool fans would have told he was on his way out to Fulham or somewhere.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. Chris, right, there was really interesting. There were 2 big moments in the first half, neither given us penalties. And Southampton fans saying, we should have had a penalty. And Liverpool fans going, we should have had a penalty before the Southampton penalty, which wasn't. How did you read these 2?
Yeah, I looked at both of these on Saturday. The ball sort of flicks out and then it gets whipped back in. And you see Firmino just comes to the back post here and just there, Shane Long. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, that's a penalty. Now, all I can presume is that the VAR saw 2 players who were just jumping for the ball's going over the head and judged it as normal contact. But I think that's a penalty.
Penalty.
Penalty for me. It's like a rucksack, isn't he?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Shane Long is just on his back. I mean, how's he meant to jump? He can't jump because he's hanging off his
Penalty
back.
and red card.
I don't think it's a red card.
Well, he's not making any attempt to play the ball if he's jumping on his
He's not in
back.
possession. What's the likelihood of him regaining possession? It's a big ask. I think it's just a penalty.
Did they judge that the ball might be too high for him? It shouldn't matter, should it?
Well, it shouldn't matter. I think you're right what you say. Because the ball's in the air and the 2 players have collided, the VAR's probably thought that's not a penalty, but I don't.
Okay. And then at the other end, Southampton thought they should have had a penalty as well.
This was Fabinho on Danny Ings, and I watched this several times, and as he goes through the gap, he just stumbles, and I looked at it, and I looked at it again, and I'm looking at it 4 and 5 times, and it's just didn't feel clear and obvious to me, that one. I just didn't think it was a penalty. I mean, you see that there, that slight collision.
No, I'm with you. I don't think that's clear and obvious, actually.
I'm surprised. Yeah, it is absolutely that. I mean, I've very rarely seen Danny Ings go over if there's a goal-scoring opportunity to be had. Gambling on the referee, giving him the decision.
Yeah. Nailed on penalty.
Nailed on, yeah.
Nailed on penalty. They go up the other end, they score a goal. Referee's not brave enough to turn it over. We can bring it back all the way and say, no, at Anfield, that's a penalty to Southampton. For me, that's my view, not the view of the PLP.
That's nice and clear then, isn't it? Right, we'll crack on then. That's our view. To the King Power next. Third, playing fourth, both Leicester and Chelsea